Keeper of the Lost Cities, Neverseen, Chapter 9. Okay, I figured you guys were going to be weird, Keith said, but I wasn't expecting this weird. Sophie knew she should probably elbow him, but all she could do was stare. The whole time she'd followed Mr. Forkle to the meeting point, a black pavilion hidden deep in the heart of the subterranean forest, she'd imagined a group of pudgy, wrinkly elves who ate too many ruckleberries. Instead, they found she wasn't sure what. Everyone, I'd like you to meet Squall, Blur, Wrath, and Granite, Mr. Forkle told them. I know these titles might seem strange, Squall said, but we've found it's easier to remember code names when they match the disguise. A heavy shiver obscured Squall's voice, and she was clearly a froster. She'd covered herself head to toe in a thick layer of foggy ice. Next to her stood Wrath's hovering silver cloak. He was Vanisher and had turned everything invisible except his clothes. His voice sounded distant and hollow as he told them, "Welcome to Oblivimir." Blur introduced himself next, explaining that he was a phaser and could break his body down to pass through walls. But with the right concentration, he could reform only partially. The effect reduced him to splashes of color and smudged lines and shadows. It would have been the craziest thing Sophie had ever seen if Granite hadn't been standing right next to him. Granite explained that he consumed a chalky powder called Endorite, since his ability as a telepath couldn't disguise him. The rare mineral caused his body to crystallize and harden, turning him into a talking, roughly carved statue. He sounded scratchy and gravelly as he said, "We're grateful to have all of you here, including you, Miss Vacker." Della, she corrected. "Surely, if I have to call you all these crazy code word names, you can call me by my familiar name." Squall's face crackled as she smiled. "Della it is. We've been informed of your request to officially join our cause," Granite said, "and it's a tricky situation. We realize your husband has clearly shown remorse for what happened with Prentice, and that errors occurred on both sides of that situation. Still, there are some among our organization who might find you hard to trust, and we cannot damage our unity." "But you're accepting us," Biana said, pointing to herself in fits. "You have proven yourselves," Wrath reminded her. "I'm prepared to prove myself as well," Della promised. "I'll swear an oath, submit to any test. All I want is a chance to set the past right." The collective turned to each other, and Sophie was sure they were debating the matter telepathically. The council used the same trick, so no one could hear them argue. "We believe you," Mr. Forkle eventually said, "and are willing to give this arrangement a try. You can swear fealty tonight with the others." "What exactly does that mean?" Sophie asked, hoping there was no embarrassing ritual. "It's a simple process," Granite said. "It'll make more sense when you receive your packages. They'll be delivered to your rooms before your bedtime." "Wait, we have a bedtime?" Keith asked. "Yes, Mr. Sensen. Your curfew will be midnight, and that means lights out," Mr. Forkle said. "We also expect you to stay in your separate houses for the remainder of the night. Every morning you'll meet for breakfast, then spend the rest of the day with your lessons." "What kind of lessons?" Biana asked. "Exercises to better prepare you for the tasks ahead. You're all very talented, but you've only begun to hone your abilities. We will mentor you when we can, and when we're unavailable, your rooms have been stocked with books and assignments." "Or we could, work on hunting down the Neverseen," Keith suggested. "The Neverseen are not a pressing threat at this moment," Blur said. "You're kidding, right?" Keith asked. "They're running around starting fires." "One fire," Granite corrected. "That you know of," Fitz countered. "No, Mr. Vacker, one fire," Granite insisted. "We have eyes all over the world. If anything burns, we know about it. Just like we were there to extinguish the Florence fire. And now that Gethan has been moved, the Neverseen have disappeared without a trace. We must wait for them to reveal themselves before we take further action. Unless they already did something, Sophie said, careful to keep her words vague. Mr. Forkle cocked his head. I see you have all kinds of theories. Sophie backed away. Are you reading my mind? Of course. He didn't sound sorry. Does that mean I can poke around your head? She countered. By all means, be my guest. Sophie ignored his confident smile as she tried to open her mind to his thoughts. Or Granite's thoughts. Or wraiths. Or blurs. Or squalls. I made your telepathy unstoppable, Mr. Forkle said. But that doesn't mean it can't be deceived. Once you figure out what that means, you'll earn the right to hear what I'm thinking. That's not good enough, Sophie snapped. Just because I'm here doesn't give you the right to invade my privacy. Mr. Forkle started to argue, but Granite placed a rocky hand on his shoulder. If we maintain the rules of telepathy, Granite asked her, would that make you more comfortable? A little, Sophie mumbled. Then consider that our arrangement, and remember that the rules apply to you as well, Granite told her. I will still transmit to you on occasion, Mr. Forkle added, making Sophie jump as his voice filled her head. But I will not open my mind to your thoughts or hear your reply unless you transmit back to me. I hope this proves that we do consider your wants and concerns. Clearly, it's going to take time to adjust to our new working arrangement, but we are on the same side, even if our approaches differ. And since I already saw what you were thinking, let me go ahead and assure you that we're investigating the gnome situation, and we've seen no obvious signs of the Neverseen's involvement. The footprints Aurelie mentioned? And by the way, you should use that imparter she gave you very sparingly. It belonged to 2 teenagers living nearby. Why are there teenagers living near the Wildwoods? Most likely they've been banished, but they were clearly not a threat to the gnomes. So, you can let go of your conspiracy theories for the moment. Give us time to investigate properly. We know you two are having a secret conversation, Keith interrupted. Care to share with the rest of us? Just clarifying something, Sophie said. What about Gethan? Keith asked. You promised to tell us about the interrogations. There isn't much to tell, Mr. Forkle said. Each time I've tried to probe his mind, he was unresponsive. So do a memory break, Keith pressed. You misunderstand what I mean by unresponsive. His head currently appears to be empty. There's no thought processes, no dreams, no memories of any kind. I've never seen defenses like it. But I've yet to figure out how to counter it. Do you think it'll help if I try to heal him? Sophie asked. That would be far too dangerous, Granite said. It's possible his goal is to lure you into his mind and trap you there. Isn't that what Fenton tried to do during the healing? Sophie winced at the memory. If Fitz hadn't dragged her back to consciousness, Fenton would have burned her alive without her even realizing. But you're taking the same risk when you search his mind, aren't you? She asked Mr. Forkle. I am far less valuable than you. As are we all. He's right, Squall agreed. And I'm sorry, but I must get back or someone will notice I'm missing. She removed a frosted, purple-black crystal from her crackly cloak and leaped away in a flurry of snow. Now, what was I saying? Mr. Forkle asked, watching the snowflakes swirl. You were making excuses for why you can't find the Neverseen, Keith told him. Pretty lame ones, if you ask me. So you feel it's lame to keep Sophie safe? Granite asked. No. But it's lame not to use me, Keith argued. We know some of the Neverseen are in Ravagog. Give me a green crystal and I'll hunt them down. That is the most supremely absurd idea I've ever heard, Mr. Forkle told him. Sophie had to agree. King Dimitar had taken out her humongous goblin bodyguard with a single punch from his ape-like fist. And the ogre who'd grabbed her during the attack on Mount Everest had literally dragged her through ice and stone. If they catch you, they'll kill you, she whispered. Well then, I guess it's a good thing breaking into places is my specialty, Keith told her. This isn't sneaking into the principal's office, Fitz said. I can handle it, Keith insisted, and now is the time to make our move. The Neverseen are scrambling. We caught Gethan. Brant's all charred and burned, and my mom, he cringed at the word, isn't as tough as she pretends to be. She won't last long with the ogres. She needs gourmet dinners and fancy clothes, and she's horrible with bad smells. That may be, Mr. Forkel said, but you're forgetting that trespassing on ogre land violates our treaties. We cannot spark a war. Haven't they already voided the treaty by helping the Neverseen? Fitz asked. King Dimitar is claiming that was done by a band of ogre rebels, Blur explained. If they're acting without his permission, the council can't hold him responsible. Does the council really believe him? Sophie asked. Besides, aren't we rebels too? Dex asked. If they caught Keith, wouldn't the council be able to have the same excuse? Why is everyone assuming I'm going to get caught? Keith asked. You guys are clearly forgetting how awesome I am. And yet, you wore an ogre homing device for weeks without any inkling of its existence, Mr. Forkel reminded him. I'm not saying this to fault you, simply to help you realize what we're up against. The ogres have defenses far beyond our knowledge and experience. And as for your thoughts, Mr. Disney, you saw how King Dimitar reacted when Sophie attempted to heal his mind. How do you think he'd react when someone invaded his city? Sophie cringed at the reminder of how serious the consequences of that single act had been. She still hadn't shaken her doubts that it was related to the Wildwood Plague. We cannot be hasty with our efforts, Granite told them. We must be strategic. That doesn't mean we should waste time either, Keith argued. Do not fool yourself into believing you are the only one feeling impatient, Mr. Forkel warned him. Tell me, do you know the names of the dwarves we lost to Mount Everest? They were Ermit, Irja, and Kun, and Yegor is still in critical condition. They were dear friends, and we are anxious to avenge them, but that is not an excuse to take foolhardy actions. I know you've spent months solving clues on your own and disobeying adults, Granite added, but you must remember we are the ones guiding you through it. We figured out a lot of things on our own, Fitz argued. Indeed you did, Granite agreed, which is why we're glad to work with you. But we must be a team. That'd be easier to believe if you guys weren't keeping so many secrets, Sophie reminded them. The only secrets we keep are ours, Mr. Forkel said. What about the memories you stole from my head? Sophie had 2 blank spots in her mind. One from when she was 9 and had an allergic reaction to limbium, an elven substance Mr. Forkel must have given her for some reason. The other from when she was 5, and Mr. Forkel triggered her telepathy. She could vaguely recall seeing a boy in elven clothes disappear, but she didn't remember who he was. Those memories were mine, she said, and you took them and expect me to pretend like it's not a big deal. Mr. Forkel let out another long sigh and turned to telepathically debate with the collective. As the silence stretched on, Sophie braced for a long "you kids" lecture. But when Mr. Forkel finally spoke, he said, Very well. In the interest of earning back your trust, would you like your memory back?